One of the worst teams could be one of the best teams in 2022. But before we get into that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. It really helps this video share to other college football fans around the world, and it really helps me out, and it only takes 1 second. All right, now let's get right into it. Arizona football is who I'm talking about. They have been on the bottom of college football for the last decade or two. But 2022 is looking for something new. First, let's talk about 2021. In 2021, the team went 1-11 under new coach. They were very terrible QBs. The QBs were awful, and they totaled together for 2,716 passing yards, throwing 226 pass yards per game, one of the worst in all of college football. The run game was decent, but definitely needed help. They ran for 1,556 yards, 129 rush yards per game. They were mediocre in the run game. They really need to step up. Their wide receiver room was terrible. Most of the wide receivers were averaging below 10 yards a reception. The defense needed help. They were letting up 31 points per game, and they were getting no turnovers or pressure. But this had all changed in 2022. Now, if we look at it, let's look at the recruiting class. This is the best recruiting class in Arizona history, and it's led by top recruit in Arizona history, wide receiver Terrio McMillan. Wide receiver 4-star who in high school had 22,640 reception yards, 14.7 average yards reception, 34 reception touchdowns. Also getting a really good tight end in that thing. He was a 4-star Keon Burnett, 325 reception yards, 13 games. Like I said, needing help in the secondary, they got a 4-star corner, Ephesians Price-Sox, who's one of the best corners in all of the 2022 recruiting class. He had 52 tackles, 10 passes defended, 10 interceptions, and 3 tackles per game. Then one of my most hyped running backs going into 2022 will be the freshman running back Rayshawn Luke, or so-called Speedy Luke. He ran for 2,010 rushing yards, 24 touchdowns, and 665 receiving yards with 5 receiving touchdowns, and is one of the fastest recruits in 2022 class. Not just one of the fastest running backs, but the fastest all around. They also had a 4-star linebacker to help with the pass rush and stopping the run, named Sterling Lane. He was a beast in high school. He had 75 tackles, 6.8 tackles per game, 13 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Jetfish has put one of the best recruiting classes in Arizona history, and I totally build on the transfer portal he gave for this team. And Arizona's recruiting class, let alone, is what's helping this team in 2022. At least getting 3 wins with this with this recruiting class. But looking at this transfer portal, but before that, there's a few 3-stars on this Arizona team that are really, really good, but we're not going to go over them. Let's talk about the transfer portal, one of the best Arizona's ever landed. Person I want to talk about first is one of my most hyped QB in 2022. He is probably my favorite quarterback going into 2022. Not Heisman watch, but most underrated quarterbacks that you might not know. And that is Pac-12 Freshman Player of the Year and the best quarterback in the Pac-12. And that is Jaden De Lara, former Washington State quarterback, transferred over this year. He threw for 2,798 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, being a freshman. And he ran for more. He's mobile and can throw really well. All he needed is a few weapons, and that's what he got through the transfer portal. Another guy who will help with rush on the defensive line is Tyola Sevilla. As a freshman at UCLA, he never saw playing time on college, but in high school was one of the best defensive lines in the class of 2021. He played 7 games, 1 fumble recovery, 14 solo tackles, and 3 sacks, only in 7 games. They also got a really good linebacker from Michigan, Anthony Solomon, who like the last guy, never saw playing time. But if he did, because Michigan, they were a very experienced team with Aiden Hutchinson. But we saw him a lot of potential through high school, Anthony Solomon, and I totally expect him to keep it going through. In high school, he had 97 tackles, 4.8 sacks, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. And the most hyped guy in this transfer portal, a guy that you probably never heard of, but if you look at ESPN and check receiving rankings, he's definitely one of the first guys you see. And that is a guy from UTEP, wide receiver named Jacob Cowing, who in 2021 had a star standout year, and I think will do the same He had 69 receptions for 1,354 yards, 7 touchdowns, and that is averaging 20 yards a reception. Arizona needs this big play guy, knowing that they have Jacob Cowing and Rayshawn Luke. And with all the newcomers, like I said, they needed help with quarterback. They needed a better running back, a way better wide receiver room, and more pressure. They got a quarterback who won Pac-12 Freshman of the Year and threw for 2,700 plus yards and got 23 passing touchdowns. And they got 2 wide receivers who averaged 15 plus yards plus per reception, knowing Jacob Cowing is one of the most hyped receivers going into 2022. He'll definitely be on my top 5 receiver list. And Tyola Sevilla is a very talented freshman who will be doing a lot for this team in 2022. They also got 1 running back, the fastest running back in the class of 2022, and one of the fastest players overall. And they got 2 stud linebackers and 1 defensive line. And all go along with that, they got a top 20 recruiting class for the first time ever. And they got the most highly committed player ever in Arizona history. Jedd Fisch has definitely got this program going in the right direction, even after going 1-11. But this team can definitely turn it around under Jaden De Lara, one of the most highly talented quarterbacks in college football. I totally expect him to do good with his new receivers and how good they are at playmaking skills, and they can definitely force the ball down the field with a bunch of speed on the perimeter. And they have a speedy running back, too, that you can send out in wheel routes and will be one of the most dominant running backs. Freshman can even win one of the best freshman running backs in the league. And Rayshawn Luke, he's definitely a guy to watch out for. Top 5 running back without a doubt. Alright, that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. This one took me a lot of time. Took me a lot of stats to go into. And what do y'all think about Jedd Fisch? Do you think his team's turning in the right direction or the wrong direction after this transfer portal and recruiting class? Well, and that'll be the end of the video. Hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. It only takes 1 second to do all that, and it really helps me out. And go check out Sauce Williams' channel. He does a bunch of YouTube shorts, funny videos, and I'll do some college football videos. And also go check out Sarah McPherson. He's a small channel on the rise. He does a bunch of YouTube shorts and will do sports highlights every once in a while. And yep, that'll be the end. Hit a comment below and tell me what y'all think I should do in later videos. My top 25 is coming out really soon. It takes me a long time to work on that, and it takes a lot of stats and editing and all that are involved with it. So yes, I know y'all guys are waiting for that, but it is coming soon. Alright, see y'all guys in the next one, and go check out Jaden De Lara and look at him, and look out Rayshawn Luke and look how fast he is, and I'll see y'all guys in the next video.